I'm Ken the Critic, and we are here today talking to Tim Blake Nelson, the writer and director of Leaves of Grass, and actor Edward Norton. Tim, I wanted to start with you first. You were the writer as well as the director on this film, and I just wanted you to tell us a little bit about the story and how you came up with this concept.
Yeah, I just the genesis of it was to write a character who was living his life very rigidly in a way that he felt would ensure that it would go as planned. Who was living the right way, who got completely sideswiped, and learned that you really can't prescribe or control what your life is going to be. And then I, while writing him, quickly discovered that it might be interesting to write an identical twin who had a completely different, more improvisatory approach to life, who was the force that sideswiped his brother. And then I started thinking about Edward playing the role, and the story spun out from there, and I suddenly was writing this opportunity for Edward to embody that notion.
In this film, Edward, you play Bill and Brady Kincaid, and Bill is an Ivy League professor that is well-to-do, and then Brady is this redneck brother and this involved with drug dealing. And your accent for Brady was so intelligent. I just wanted to know who you emulated to get this accent down.
Well, Tim's from Oklahoma, and he's a good guide. And as cultured as he sounds, he's actually an extremely lowbrow person. But I went up to Little Dixie. I drove up there from Shreveport and hung out in Ida Bell and Broken Bow. You know, kind of went to some bars, went to some restaurants, and talked to folks for a while. And with me, I feel like if I get 3 good days of really listening to something like that, I'm from the eastern South, and so I felt like I was able to find what that particular Oklahoma thing was. But basically, the best thing you can do is just go to the real place and talk to folks.
So what was the hardest part of playing both characters?
In the beginning, it was sort of figuring out like who should go first in a way, but we figured that out. At first I thought it was going to be hard to have to do both on the same day, but very quickly we realized that made it easier because it was fresh. It was right. If they were having a conversation, you wanted to get it all out while you could remember exactly what you were doing on both sides, and yeah, it was fun.
So, Tim, you also were in this film. You played Brady's best friend who you went to prison with. Why did you decide to cast yourself to play this part instead of someone else?
Yeah, I've never acted in the film I've directed before. But in this particular movie, because the script itself, and I knew the movie itself was going to be a sort of love letter from the director to the actor who was going to play the identical twins, I thought it would be interesting and legible in a good way for the audience to experience, to act in support, to be a sort of sidekick character. Because Bolger doesn't say a great deal in the movie. He's just there to support his best friend. And then he becomes a sort of best friend to the other brother by the end of the movie, and saves his life. And I thought that's interesting as the director to be a supporting character to the actor playing.
He tried to get out of it, but then we wouldn't let him. And also, I think he just wanted to grow a big handlebar mustache like that and wear a do-rag. But
So Leaves of Grass is a dark comedy about drugs, but the overall message is, what does it truly mean to be happy? So what do y'all feel like it truly means to be happy in your own personal lives?
Well, the thing I liked about the script when I read it was I thought that theme was really one that everybody could relate to, because it's really just about balance. You know, I think I think everybody goes through that, just trying to balance the forces in your life in a way that, you know, you feel like you're in control, but unexpected things can still happen that give you joy, and you know. So I think it's the same for everybody in a way. I think finding balance.
Yourself.
Yeah, I like what Edward said. I think embracing the dichotomies within yourself. We all have these different, often divergent forces at work. In my own life, I'm a dad and a husband, but I go off making movies, which is a very unstructured life, juxtaposed with the structured life of being a parent. And it really is about embracing those dichotomies and enjoying the balance that can occur in their juxtaposition. And that is happiness. And when that balance does occur, you don't even think about it, and you don't stop to think you're happy. You're just living your life completely. And I hope that's what's going to occur for the main character of this movie, Bill, at the end. He's just embarking on a new, richer, and happier way of living his life.
And I wanted to know what projects y'all had coming up. I know, Edward, you own the rights to The Soldier of the Great War, and I was wondering if you were working on that and what other projects y'all had.
Yeah, well, the two guys who wrote Rounders and produced The Illusionist, who are friends of mine, and I got Mark Halperin to let us take a crack at that. So it's challenging because it's such a big movie, and we're not there yet. We haven't figured out exactly how to do it at the scale that it needs to be done, but hopefully someday.
What other stuff do you have coming up?
I did a film with Robert De Niro and the director of The Painted Veil, and that will probably come out in the fall, called Stone. That's probably the next thing coming up.
And you yourself, Tim?
Yeah, I'm about to act. I have a couple movies that I'm going to do. This movie called Return, about a woman who's going to be played by Linda Cardellini, coming back from the Iraq War. She's a National Guards woman, and she comes back and tries to get back into her life, and has a lot of difficulty doing that, and her life kind of falls apart. And so I'm doing that, and I'm in a movie called Yelling to the Sky with Zoe Kravitz and Gabby Sidibe, which is going to probably come out later this year. And then I've written a new script that I'm just finishing.
Well, I really appreciate y'all's time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.